What's going on, traders? Who's ready to get into at the close? Smash the like, get it started. Let me know what was on your radar today. Seems like we got a lot of green out there. What was on your radar that possibly ended up in the green? Let me know in the chats. And of course, let's get pre-market prep at the close started.
All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
3 consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
What's going on? How we doing out there, traders? Looks like that rally got some legs. It's not looking too bad there. Definitely getting a lift on up, and we'll talk about that. Of course, all led on the heels of that Tesla earnings report. And if you take a look at what is leading right now in the big, kind of the bigger names, what is leading this rally, right? I always try to point to market breadth. I think it's important. And this rally is getting led by what? Well, it's getting led by none other than that Tesla run. But if you take a look at the big components, what will you see? There's not one that's up more than 2% there. Only Tesla's up 10%. So that shows me more and more that it's a one stock leading rally. But I do see a lot of stocks into the green. So this can be misleading. But I'm also watching, of course, how does this affect our overall market breadth? And today is the first day in a long time, I should have had the date written down, that the SMA 50 is now above into the green. 52.3% of stocks are in the green on the 50-day moving average. Something to keep on watch, right? New highs, 24.8% of stocks made a new high today. 75.2% made new lows. So it's something to definitely keep on watch. We'll see what happens. The SMA 200 had gotten as low as about 13%, now up to 16.5%. Of course, the SMA 200 lags a little bit more. We'll see what happens. Is Joel out? Yep, Joel is out. He's on vacation, enjoying Northern Michigan, and I hope he's having a good time. Chris, we matching, baby? Yeah, baby. Let's see if the chat knows where this is from. I'll go full screen. If the chat knows this is from, where's this from, guys? I don't think they'll get it right, Chris. Even if you could read it there, I don't know if you had that good vision, but we'll see what happens. Let's get into the overall market. What else was moving today? Of course, healthcare stocks continuing to push. We talked about that on pre-market prep with Mark Chaikin. He was taking a look at some biotech names. Those did pretty decent today. Let's take a look at Moderna. How did we close on up here? Looks like we're coming on back here a little bit. Just keep these on your radar. BNTX also had a decent day, but pulled back a little bit here in the afternoon. BIIB, I've been watching this one. This one had earnings earlier in the week. Has come down a decent amount. Now starting to make its way back. Just keep it on radar, especially if you're going to keep watching the biotechs come on up. Now, what did well in diagnostics and research? Well, let's take a look. Of course, it was none other than Thermo Fisher. Look at that move, 6.2% move and holding up sideways at the top of the price range. Interesting stock here. And keep this on your radar. I've been watching this nice little bottoming on this chart now, looking like it wants to come back for that 600. A lot of bottoming near that kind of 516 area. We'll continue to watch if this can pull back, but this looks like a pretty good ride on up. Look at DHR also. The leaders in this industry really taking off today. So I would keep these on radar. This one has a longer term trend line that it's trying to come into. You can take a look here. You can see how this has tried to come breaking out before in this pattern. Couldn't hold that. Now you can see that it's trying to get back up there, let's say towards the 288, 290 area. We'll see what happens there in DHR. All right. Hey, look at you guys. Hope they can read, laugh out loud. Probably some pot smoking convention. I wish, Anthony. That would not be that would be the cyber bong, not the cyber kongs, but who knows? You got it right, Tiny. The Gary V convention, of course, in VCon. and it was none other than from the NFT collection that is Cyber Kongs. So check those on out. They're pretty interesting, the artwork, but definitely not Anthony for the winner chicken dinner there. Let's take a look there at the cannabis stocks. Did those get finally back on up? I was watching this one. I'm still long Tilray, full disclosure. Got in that one around 350. Just held sideways today. We'll see if it can get that next lift up tomorrow. CGC, yeah, came down also, and so did MSOS. So, MSOS actually pushing up there towards the close. That's interesting. Still long this one here, guys, from the 1162. So my swing trades are still on in those cannabis stocks. My best stock of the day for me was Fisker. I did nail it up there towards the 1020s, got on out. So took the day trade there. Not a bad trade in Fisker today. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some other stocks. Of course, we had earnings come out of UAL. United really taking the hit on the downside and continuing to leak out here. The question that we were asking in pre-market was it going to hold around this 37.80 level? You could see it flush right through there. It needs to recover back towards 38. If not, it could just come right back down there towards the 36 and even the 34.63. So it's not looking too confident that it's going to be able to hold that 61.8% retrace. I know Dennis was looking at that area, and it's not holding right now. Of course, let's take a look at American Airlines, also pulling back there. This one's at least holding closer towards that 50%, which would be that 13.69. But we'll see if this one can able to kind of get back on up there. Cruise lines, after, of course, putting out there the offering, a $1 billion offering, it did come on down in the pre-market. Didn't do too much in the actual market. Actually came up a little bit in the intraday. But NCLH, look how that's kind of performing. That one's definitely taking the hit off of that. If you take a look at the daily on this one, you could see that it's tried to get back up through the 13, couldn't fill completely into that gap zone and hold. Now it's coming right back. It could easily be coming around back there towards the 11. Want to see it hold the 9 EMA here around the 12.17. But hey, if it breaks 12, watch out. Could be back below 11. All right, let's go ahead. Jackie wants me to take a look at GWSO. I got no problem. You guys running the show today. I will let you guys know that. So it's not me running this show today. I'll definitely take a step back and just kind of cover some stocks for you guys as I do every day. GWSO. Don't know anything about this one, but definitely it's pushing. Doesn't look like it's a heavily traded name, so just be careful out there. Only 107,000 shares traded on the whole day. So that's the only warning that I would give you, Jackie. I know that you're probably seeing this move, but it's very illiquid. And so to me, I always look for at least 1 million shares traded, and this is not even a tenth of that. So just be careful out there with GWSO. I'm not even going to make a comment on levels because it's just way too low liquidity. Where's Joel? Joel is on a vacation. Joel's enjoying some vacation time. He doesn't need to trade every single day. He's already done that in his life. So he's taking a good vacation. You can't blame the man. Let him have some fun. We'll just keep taking a look at the market. If you guys got a stock you guys want to check on out, please let me know. And if for any reason there's someone in the chat that had a great trade today, wants to come on the show and show me that great trade, or you just want to talk about the markets, let me know. I'll throw up the link so you guys can jump on into the show. I'm feeling a little brave today. What can I say? All right, let's go ahead. Nice short on AA, says Dan back. All right. You got that Alcoa pull back down? Yeah, man. Alcoa couldn't even hold. It had that big push right before the close there, and then push. Oh, smack right back down there. So definitely aluminum getting the smack down there. Was looking at steel early on. I was looking at X. I was actually trying to trade this kind of pullback here. Ended up taking some profits quickly into the to the 20 handle, but it wasn't able to hold past the 2021. Pulled back there, and then finally pushing back up there. So steel trying to get through that level. Of course, this is coming off of Nucor's kind of earnings. And look at Nucor up there. It's about 7%. So keep your eyes on steel. Has been making waves back. We'll see if it can continue pushing. Definitely we miss Joel. Can't go wrong without the Joel. I would have Shelly yelling, release the Joel. Release the Joel. All right, NUE definitely near the high of the day, and so is Cleveland Cliff. Those are probably moving better even than my X. But hey, doesn't look bad either, right? Closing up towards the top of that doesn't look bad at all to keep on watch. Another one that I like in steel is Steel Dynamics, and look at those. I actually like this one and how it trades often. It's a forgotten name, STLD. One thing I do like about it is the daily 200 moving average. It's starting to get above, and the 50-day right above that. So we'll look to see if we get a day 2 move in steel, but not a bad move there in some basic materials today. Let's keep going. Consumer cyclical, of course, auto manufacturing is what led there. That was names like Tesla that were up about 10%. And it did affect other names like Rivian. I saw Rivian up about 3.8 here. Not looking too bad. That one's finding some bottoming if you're trying to take a look at some of those names. But I also saw what was into the red, right? And into the red, we had energy was in the red. Now it's not in the red anymore from the open. But utilities, communication services. Let's take a look at some oil names like XOM. You're getting in that sideways day today, and it's actually closing on up closer towards the open here. I'm going to keep a close eye on oil. I have a feeling we're going to get a ramp back up. I know a lot of people are thinking that, inflation's topping and that kind of talk, but who knows? Maybe out of nowhere, we get another ramp up in oil prices, and that keeps inflation persistent. And so I'm going to keep watch to see what happens if this does happen, if the narrative kind of fills. But a move back above 89 tomorrow is what I'd be seeing in ExxonMobil if it can get back up there. So right now, 88 is where it keeps rejecting multiple times. That's where I was trading it earlier in the week. I'm going to look for a close above that 88 tomorrow and really starting to push. We'll see what happens there. All right, thoughts on the Qs. Is the bottom in or reversing coming in the next couple of days? That's a hard talk, right? I would probably throw it to the chat to take a vote, right? Do you guys feel that this is a dead cat bounce, or do you guys feel that the bottom's put in and the bottom's in and this is kind of more FOMO coming in here? I'm going to be in the camp that as long as we have the Fed coming in next week, I would be in the camp that this is not a dead cat bounce, but that's because I've been waiting for a move back up to 400. I've been waiting to fill in some of this zone, right? We talked about yesterday how we didn't close into that zone. Today, we're actually going to, at least from the time being, it looks like we're going to close into that shadow. And so I think if we're just filling in that shadow, and we could easily just fill it in and then just tick right back down. Of course, what would I point to? The same rise that we got last time when we got a push back out of a bear pattern. It was looking like this, right? And it was looking like it wanted to break down and come back down towards the 390s. And instead, we actually shook out of that. We got through the resistance, making our way to the next level. And then we actually stood up there a couple of days. So I'm wondering if that's what happens this time. But we'll see how we react. When we get up there, you can see here, we were looking like we wanted to break down. Now we're pushing back through the resistance. Now let's see how much the next leg gives us. Do we start stopping around, let's say 402s, 404s? It could get up there too, right? I think 400 is really the level that I'm going to first look for. I think we could tick up there to close the shadow, but I'll see if we create a wick above the shadow to look for that downside action coming back into the market. All right, looks like I see cat bouncing. Hey, we'll see what happens. I'll take a look. Money, how are you handling the GME split tomorrow? Well, I talked about it on Monday, that Monday was the time that you wanted to kind of look to get in there on GME. That's when I was looking at this stock. I called out Monday, and I've been following it with, of course, AMC. I've been talking about AMC probably more than anybody else on Wall Street. I know that some people are scared to talk about AMC nowadays, but I'm not scared. GME has been pushing up since that Monday and really just pushing. Now, what will happen is I think you start seeing a little bit of slowdown here. Maybe you could see another level push, but I would look for a pullback getting closer towards the 150s, the 148s, 145, and then look for a reload up in GME. One thing that's telling me this also is the topping action that you got in AMC. Did not want to make that look to go to 20. That's what I'll keep on watch right now. 9 EMA has been following it really well on the trend. Now we got an extended away from that 9 EMA, and you're seeing the crash right back down in AMC. All right, let's continue going. Let's take a look at some other stocks that are trading on out there. You guys let me know if anything caught your eyes. Going to go ahead and point to the turnaround that we're finally seeing in ITB. Well, it was for a while, and then it rocketed back up there. Look at it now, man. These housing stocks, they don't want to turn around, even though housing, is, at least from the catalyst that I see out there, it's really pointing to the downside. You could see it getting out of this pattern here, now trying to push to the next level, which is 61. We'll see what happens in these constructor stocks. I saw Lennar breaking down early. Look how this flipped right back up to the upside. We'll see if the overall market keeps this kind of grinding on up higher, because, if the Fed increases the interest rates again, we continuously see the housing issues. I've been seeing more and more talks of repossessions of vehicles. I just don't know. I don't know. The price action is not showing me that. But the same thing happened in kind of like American Airlines, right? We were getting the stocks were coming down, yet we we're getting good news about kind of traveling. So it's just a difficult situation, I think, in my eyes there. All right. We'll see what happens in the marijuana legislation. I'm keeping my eyes on those cannabis stocks. That's why I took the trade. But hey, we'll see if the cannabis can ever get legalized. It's kind of dumb that it's not, but we won't even get into that. Let's take a look what else is moving out there. If you guys got a stock you guys want to call on out, feel free to call it out in the chat. I'm going to go through some of the headlines today. Let's take a look at Ford, right? Ford had multiple news headlines out there. They said Thursday that it'd secure 100% of its battery supplies needed to deliver electric vehicles at a rate of 600,000 per year by the end of 2023. This definitely helped it up after, of course, talking about planning to slash as many as 8,000 jobs to boost investments in electric vehicle manufacturing, which to me, it didn't really necessarily seem like an upside outlook, right? Cut in jobs. Isn't that why Apple kind of crashed earlier in the week? So it just confused me a little bit on why that made sense there. But hey, now you're seeing Ford right back up there. It kind of held the move. And I think this was all really based on the Tesla move. I'm probably the only person that tried to take Tesla short today and made some money. So, hey, to each his own, right? We'll see what happens. Amazon kind of getting that lift off of the buying primary healthcare provider, One Medical, for about 3.9. It actually held the gains there. Not a bad day for kind of Amazon on that lift. All right. Looks like someone wants me to take a look at Palantir and PayPal. I got you guys. I'll take a look at that. Palantir up there towards the 1050s. Doesn't look too bad, right? Held down there in the 8s. Has been coming on back here. So it's something to keep on watch. I talked about the kind of the retracement up. It filled the shadow. Once you got the fill of the shadow, you came right back down into the shadow, then came right back above it, right below it. Now I want to see kind of this hold $10. If this can hold $10, it has its way back. I talked about how I didn't want to even take a look at this bullish until it got back above this green line. So I'm going to try to respect the way that I was looking at this chart in the past. It needs to get back through 12 for me to even think about playing Palantir on the upside, because this has been such a dog. Even when it's set up perfectly for a long-term breakout, instead of getting a move up here, what did you get? You got a move that broke down back to the lows. And until this stock holds trends or hold patterns, don't come calling for me, at least. And that's what I think is important. And sometimes look at the charts to see if they hold patterns or do they fail patterns consistently. And if they fail patterns consistently, why the hell are we trading them? You know what I mean? Because it's just it's kind of like asking for something to work out that you've never seen work. It sounds like insanity to me. All right, let's continue going. Let's get into another stock there, PayPal. I've actually been thinking about taking a swing on this one. I talked about it earlier, and then I talked about it on live trading yesterday. I think this is one that you definitely take a look. We did get some pullback today to 76.92. I talked about potentially into this kind of the 76, 78 is what I would be looking for. It already lifted off of that level, so it's going to be hard to kind of catch the bounce now. We need to see a pullback to around the 78 for at least for me to take a swing, but it does look interesting to the upside. If this is going to be the bottom for growth stocks overall, then hey, this would probably definitely be an opportunity for PayPal. We'll see what happens. What brokerage does Mitch use? Well, this isn't a brokerage that you're seeing here. This is a charting platform. They do have a brokerage, TC2000, but what you're seeing here, Trent, this is TC2000. And so if you want to check these on out, the reason I like TC2000 is one, I think their charts look prettier than, let's say, like Thinkorswim. I like the zoom effects and how they work. And then, of course, I like the one page going into what I call the drill down, which brings you from sector to industry to stocks, working backwards, then working forward, looking for a stock that's up, and then trying to find out, okay, so it's Apple. Okay, so what does it trade? Oh, it's in technology sector. Okay, and then in consumer electronics. Okay, so that's technology. Yeah, I like to work backwards, not forward. And so that's just the way that I like to do it. I like to start at the sector, work to the industries, and to the stocks themselves. Still holding on to that cliff. We'll see what happens there. I love the one page drill down, says Trent. Yeah, that's what I like it. I think if you're looking for an easy way to flow through the rotation, find where the movement is, definitely the best way I've ever found. We've been trying to get this into Benzinga Pro. I've talked about it with the developers multiple times. They're working on it. I'll let you know the moment that we're able to set this up on Benzinga Pro. If you wanted to do this for Pro right now, you would have to set up different watch lists to kind of go through the different sectors and industries. All right, let's continue going. Let's take a look at some other stocks. Alvin, you're talking about the triple BY? Well, remember, I think a lot of that is probably with the overall market. So just be careful on a name like that has a lot of negative outlook in the long run. It's okay to be the contrarian. Try to play different plays that maybe are against the most or the herd. But remember, a lot of people say that trading with the herd brings them into the profits, and trading against the herd, yes, it could bring you profits, but it could also get you caught in a trend out breakout. Next thing you know, you're kind of fighting the herd. That's what you don't want to do. It's okay to maybe trade against them. Don't fight against them if you're seeing the trend all of a sudden change, right? But triple BY, definitely not a bad day there. It did boost off there and just got a rocket. Did that get it some news there? Looks like probably some news hit there. If not, this could just be kind of a short squeeze. I can take a look at it. Let me just pull up my Pro here really quickly. See if there's any news that hit there. Oh, there you go. Disclose passive stake. That's a little bit different. That will definitely get the stock moving here. I'm going to bring this up right now. All right, so it looks like there's an SEC filing here from the Pro. Triple B Holdings reports 13G filing that a 6.21 stake in Bed Bath & Beyond has been taken. This is after Fremont Capital discloses the passive stake. So that's why you guys are seeing Triple BY making push. Alvin, this is almost the perfect situation, at least in my eyes, if I was long this stock, right? So you're getting positive news catalysts to push your stock, right? You bought Triple BY calls yesterday. It's too cheap right now. It doesn't look too bad there. You probably are starting to really get into the green there. Not a bad stock and not a bad way to kind of catch back into the green there. So we'll see if that can continue pushing. Next stop for me, I think, would be $6. But we'll see what happens on Triple BY. And congrats. You probably are getting into the green now, at least. All right, I got in on CCL this morning at 9:52. I'm going to see how this does. Well, we'll see what happens there. Bug. It's not a bad one to kind of take a shot on. The only problem I think there is what's going to happen in the long run with the cruise lines, right? Are we going to see another one drop an offering? Because we saw Carnival drop an offering. What's not to make you think that Norwegian cruise lines or Royal Caribbean isn't going to follow suit. That's the only careful thing that I'd point to in the cruise lines. But hey, to each his own. Just always know your risk. And if this is the spot you want to take, then power to you, my friend. I wish you the best. 100% already, Alvin? Well, it's not a bad kind of profit there. To each his own. You determine when you want to take profit, Alan. But like always, I'll give you a quote that Dennis likes to tell me all the time. Sell the popcorn while the circus is in town. All right, looks like Toner wants to talk about Lucid. I talked about how if this could get above 2026 and hold, start closing up there, this would start looking bullish. And to me, perfect example of why you got to be flexible, right? I was looking for a downturn back through the 18s. What happened here? Never happened. That downturn never happened. And so now you're out of the bearish trend. You don't want to see it get back. If you were, let's say, bearish from here, you don't want to see it get back to 22s, especially. But now that it's above the 2026, and look how it held here. It went to a low of 1999, but then recovered there. Really closed actually up there towards 2110. And then you could see here, it actually opened at 2039. And so that's what I wanted to see, a hold above that 2026 level. Now you're really starting to see the push in Lucid. So I know my Lucid dreamers are out there. And looking like, hey, it's not looking bad. It's starting to get into more of a bullish zone, out of the bearish zone in my eyes. Lucid dreamers. All right, NOK. That's an interesting one. Let's take a look here. Jay, I got you in a second. NOK getting that push here. Looks like the Nokia wants to take some lift. I don't know about this stock, man. I just don't trust it enough to kind of play it because I don't think they have anything. I think it's kind of more of a stock that gets retail interest. Nokia doesn't look bad right now. I'll tell you that. At least on the hourly, it's holding up really well. Got a really nice drive in the pre-market. Could continue to run. I'm just trying to take a look here. Was this off of earnings or was this some news? Let me take a look here. Yeah, it looks like we got an earnings call. And then it jumped. It also it beat the expectations and reaffirmed guidance. So there's some lift. Would this continue going? Honestly, I don't know. It's not my type of stock that I'll keep watch. It's kind of another stock like Triple BY. It's just going to be harder to kind of really judge here. Mara into the close. Let's take a look. Mara is getting that lift into the 1350 area. I think this is probably going to be because when you're seeing the market up, you're probably going to see Bitcoin up also. And so let's see how Bitcoin's recovering on the day. Just wanted to see that. There you go. There's the Bitcoin push. You're seeing the Bitcoin push, and I think that's what's leading Mara. So if you're trading Mara or you're trading some of these Bitcoin names, I would just continue to watch Bitcoin. When you see that take off, maybe you're playing some sympathy, or maybe you're pairs trading here. Whichever way you're trying to attack it, definitely Bitcoin pushing on up here, helping the Riot, Hut, and all these kind of names take that next step up. All right, let's continue going. What is going to come after the earnings tonight? Tonight is going to be important to kind of watch. What do we got on the radar? Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. And so after tonight, we will have, after the bell, we have Snap. Snap is going to be reporting. I talked about how potentially you could see this run into the number and then get crushed on the downside. Today, you got that run today. It held above the 1550. Talked about how that was the important downside level. You didn't break through there, and you held it at the gates. Now you're up there towards 1644. I would be taking profits, but we'll see what happens in Snapchat if you can get good earnings above and move above the 1650. Mattel also going to be reporting. Of course, I would point to Hasbro. Hasbro is actually popping right now, so take a look at Matt. It could kind of keep pushing. We'll see what happens in those earnings. All right, I did see in the chat some other stocks being mentioned there. Let's go towards it. Jay wanted me to take a look at Crocs. If I start liking this stock, and I can tell you right now, I still don't like it, Jay. And maybe I'm just completely biased, and it's okay. Sometimes you're just not going to like stocks, and maybe they're just not for you. One thing that I won't do, though, is because I don't like a stock, just short it. That happens sometimes with certain names, but I try my best not to do that, right? And so in my eyes here, I don't like Crocs. I don't think they have anything. I don't even think that's a product, really. I think that's just a piece of rubber. But take a look at the chart, and the chart is definitely showing some bottoming action in the 50s and then holding well above here. Now, I talked about yesterday, I wanted to see it close back above the 6170s, and now that's what you're getting here. So you want to see it definitely hold 60s on the pullback. The 50, or in this case, I have the 65 EMA because my man Andy from Mighty Soldier Trades was giving me that one. But look, it's right around here. And so I would point to right around the 60s for any pullbacks. But for right now, if it's holding 61.72, does look bullish. We'll see if it can continue to run in Crocs. All right, another one mentioned in the chat, Disney. They wanted me to take a look at that, so I'll take a look. Disney holding well, and I think this is just going to kind of move now with Netflix until the earnings, right? Netflix having really good earnings, and I will shout out that, everyone was pointing to the downside in Netflix. I was looking for the upside report, or at least a better than expected report, and out of the last 4 to 5 reports, it was actually negative. So that's why I was looking for the flip. And Netflix has come up decently from that. And I remember even on Tuesday before their earnings, we got a chance to get this in the 188 handles. It's now at 223. That's an almost 20% gain there in Netflix. Not a bad stock, not a bad move today. One thing that I'm watching, though, there should be some resistance coming into play around the 227 level. We'll see what happens there in Netflix. Full-blown bulls out there. Yes, the bulls are definitely out and rocking today. All right, ripping into the close. Yeah, I do agree with that. What else is being brought up in the chat? What's up, guys? How we doing out there? All right, looks like we already got into 4 o'clock. I didn't even notice it was 4:02 there. Really quickly, we went through so many stocks. That's going to do it for us. We already closed on the day. SPY got up there to 398. We still got room to 400. The question is, you're going to see all the bulls come in tomorrow, right? They're going to be talking about probably how this is the bottom, the market's in, sentiments changed, it's all over. I'm going to go on the opposite end there and not be so bullish, rah. I'm going to be kind of more looking to see what the Fed does next week. And I think that matters more to my decision-making in the long run than a rally in 3 days. Now, I will point, reason why I'm thinking this way, as I pointed it early in the show, 10% day in Tesla. But if you take a look at the other major components, they didn't really have the best day either. And so, yeah, they were green, but they wasn't like everything was up 5%. I would rather have seen Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google all up 5% and seeing Tesla up 5%, then seeing Tesla up 10% and the rest of those not really higher than, let's say, a 3% gain. I know Amazon didn't do too bad, but if you look at Apple or Microsoft, they didn't do too good. A lot of that is what? Negative earnings outlook. Of course, if they come out with atrocious earnings, what's going to happen to this market? We'll see what happens. Right now, the rally does have some legs. We'll see if those legs just get chopped off when the Fed comes in next week. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys tomorrow on Pre-Market Prep. And like always, we'll continue battling in the market. Never one way to trade. And if you do know it, please let me know, because it's probably the way that I should be trading. But the truth is that there's no 100%. And so we're all trying to work to build a system. And that's what I think what matters more, building your system in a way that you can trade in every environment, not just in the buy the dip environment or in a bear market or in a ripping rally. Some way that you can trade in all these types of environments is what matters, or maybe just having a couple of tools in your tool belt. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Smash the like before you get on out of here. And like always, we'll keep building here on Benzinga.